Hi everybody, Ricky here from Behind the Bars TV. So just a bit of a random one this, just a bit of a talk about a few different topics. I've just finished training there, and what I will be talking about is physical training and the benefits it has on your mental health, because that's a lot of what I talk about in my book, Behind the Bars Ruthless Fitness. And when you're having a bad day and you're feeling down and you start working out, even though you feel like you can't be bothered to go to the gym or you can't be bothered to go and work out, believe you me, when you push yourself and you get in the gym and you start doing a workout, for me, the best workout is doing cardio, some sort of, even if it's just a cross trainer on the treadmill or doing a circuit, but it's something where you push yourself, where you're absolutely sweating. Make sure you're totally sweating, because if you just come in and you're just moping around and you're just picking the weights up, just doing a few little bits of weights and half-hearted, it doesn't really do a lot for you and distract you. What you've got to do is come in and push yourself to the limits. I've done it myself when I've felt down. I've been down a lot of times, but I think everyone does. But like I say, when you come in and just push yourself to the limits till you're gasping for breath, you're sweating like a pig, that's when you start feeling good. Then the positive thoughts are just flowing through your brain. You're thinking, oh yes, I'm feeling a lot better. But I'm also going to talk about mental health in prison as well. Because when you're suffering from mental health in prison, it's a whole lot worse than what it is out here in the community. Because in prison you've got nowhere to turn, you've got no one to confide in. I mean, you've got your pals in there, but it's not the same as having family members out here. Like your loved ones, your wife, your girlfriends, or your partners, whatever. Like I say, out here you've got people to turn to. In there, you're just stuck in a cell. Sometimes you're in a cell padded up with a stranger, someone you don't even know, someone you don't even particularly get on with, but you're just stuck you're toed up in a double pad. And when you're having these horrible feelings of anxiety and depression, and sometimes they can become really overwhelming. I've had it before, and you just feel like running out the door, but obviously you can't, because you're locked in. And it's making your mental health absolutely worse. And the treatment in prison for people with mental health is just obscene. You're waiting for weeks, months to be seen by a doctor, then to get referred to the mental health team. Then the mental health team come out and there's not a lot they can do for you. They try and put you on different types of medication. That's all they seem to do, but they put you on the wrong sort of stuff when you're in prison, and it just does nothing for you. But what I will say, in prison, what a lot of people out here don't realise is, in prison they have what's called a listener. And a listener is another prisoner. But you've got to have been on the listeners course. Obviously, these people that are listeners are model prisoners. Like they've got good jobs, maybe servery jobs, and as an extra job they become a listener. And what a listener is someone that, say you're having a bad time in your pad and you ask for a listener, you then get put into a listener's pad. So sometimes the listener's already in this pad, or there's this empty pad on the wing which is specifically a listener's pad. So you get took out of your cell during the night, sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning. I've never had one myself, but I've heard the doors getting open 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking, I wonder what that is. But you get took into the listener's pad, and then the listener gets took into that pad as well, and you can spend as much time as you want together. And the person that's called the listener out is obviously sitting, talking about the problems. Most of them are crying on. And the listener is, as the title says, he's just sitting there listening and giving bits of advice. So that is probably one of the better things that they've got in prison. And they've got them in every jail. I don't think they're on every wing, but they're in every prison. But sometimes the lads who's on the listeners, because I know some of my mates have been a listener, and they've got to get brought from their wing onto that wing, and they get, like I say, they get put in the pod together. But it's a really good thing because it stopped a lot of lads from killing themselves. Because during the night, when you're experiencing mental health, is probably the worst time. Because, like I say, I've experienced it myself, anxiety and depression, and I've woke up 2 o'clock in the morning, mind just racing, thinking about court cases, thinking about parole hearings, thinking about everything that's coming up, thinking about your family. Your mind's just fucking twisted. You can't get back to sleep, and when you're having a panic attack, you can't lie still in bed. It's absolutely horrendous. But some of these lads that can't cope with it, they just start slicing themselves up, and I've seen some horrific injuries in prison where they've inflicted them on themselves. I remember back in the day when I first went in, when they used to have the big tellies with the big backs on the glass screen. Now they've just got the thin plastic tellies, but they used to have the big tellies, and they, sometimes in the middle of the night you would hear a telly smash and you would know what it was for. They would smash the telly off the floor just so they could get the big glass off the front, because it was a big glass screen. And this one lad, he had big chunks as thick as your finger all over his arms, where you'd just be cutting himself with the TV. He'd smash the TV off the floor and just hack his arm to pieces. And but luckily, because I've got these listeners in, there was a lot less of that when I was back in the last time. There was still a load, and you would see the lads walking around with the massive scars all over their arms. There's one lad had them all over his face, cut every single part of his face, every bit of his arms. But that's because, like I say, there's not a lot of help for people in prison with mental health. It's the same out here in the community, to be honest. There's not a great deal of help. But there is the odd things, a bit like in my gym here, what I've set up myself. It goes along with my book. It's Behind the Bars support group. It's a not-for-profit group that I set up myself, where like-minded lads can come in. Lads over the age of 18 can come in and just sit on the group and sit and talk amongst each other. Some of them are just sitting listening. I'll sit and listen myself, but I join in, tell the lads my experiences, how I've overcome it, the feelings and the experiences that I still have now. And we all just sit there, chat amongst each other. Everyone listens to each other. And I've had great feedback from it, and it makes me feel good knowing that I'm doing a difference in helping people. But like I say, coming to the gym is one of the big things that does actually help. So if you're out there and you're suffering, get yourself into the gym and start doing some intense workouts. Start off slowly if you have to, but do some intense workouts to make you feel better, get them thoughts flowing. But yeah, like I say, I was just going to waffle on a bit on this video, just at different topics. I was just covering mental health and just seeing what goes on in the prisons. But I think I'll just leave that one there for now, people. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.